Alright guys, welcome back to Clash of Anatolia 2, hosted by Kasva, and he's here in the round of 6 of his own tournament, playing the Lithuanians today as player 2. I suppose I'm introducing his civ first because I'm already talking about him. It's a nice infantry civ, and also has bonus to healing range, tower, garrison limit, free murder horse, and herbal medicine, so both garrisoning in towers heals faster, and you also get the more damage out of having more units garrisoned. Cheaper farms as well, and extra armor for both stable and barracks line. Also get bonus conversion resistance, so some of the highest innate conversion resistance for a civ. Your extra melee armor on your siege units. So that's Kasva and his civ today. His opponent on the Lithuanians is Ubetnir. I'm not sure the exact pronunciation. Sorry, that was Ubetnir's civ that I introduced here. I don't know what was up with the ticker there. Anyway, Kasva here. Starting with extra 150 food. So it'd be really nice for his starting eco. He'll be able to get feudal out without a lot of stress, be able to commit more to wood, or already start to bank up the food he needs to spend on a lot of food heavy units in H2 straight off the bat. So he's got faster spearmen and skirmisher line, so really fast trash units compared to the other civs. And once he gets a hold of relics, he's going to get up to 4 bonus damage, and that should almost be a given considering we're playing here on dry graveyards, which is notorious for its 11 relic spawn. So we got 4 in a line here in Ubetnir's base, 1 in front, another sort of in the middle in front of himself and Kasva, who's also got another 4 around his base. So is that 11 in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's 11. So you can get up to, well, 11 relics, but realistically you're more likely to get up to 6, where your opponent gets 5. And that'll mean he's got the full damage bonus for each garrison relic, a maximum of +4. So really nice cav civ. Also, yeah, with those bonuses to monks, to trash unit speed, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it might help spears catch enemy raiding cav. Extra armor on the spearman line, skirmish line 2 in the late game. Ubetnir civ, I've already introduced it, but he is our player 1 in this match, and apologies to sort of leave him in the dark so far. But yeah, he's the one that benefits from monk healing range and just a slew of different slight improvements across the board with, yeah, free murder holes and herbal medicine, cheaper farms, extra garrison space for his town centers, and for his towers. And his barracks and stables units get a little bit extra armor, so it'll help offset the relic bonus damage that Kasva is likely to get on this map. Also has high innate conversion resistance, so he does benefit from that through his unique team bonus. Kasva already aging up. I think I mentioned he's going to have a bunch of food already to get that production roaring, so he's going to be able to open spear, double spear and his stables. Ubetnir likely to open with something pretty similar here. Well, I don't see any initial spears being trained just yet, and he is floating plenty of food. Oh, he's going to need a little bit more wood, so there we go. He's now got the wood, but he's also going to be making sure he gets that stables as quickly as he possibly can here. So he might have gone with 1 too many houses rather than just using a little bit more in the way of palisades just across here, in order to cram out that spearman slightly faster. But just having him here is just going to be a nice defense for his villagers. And possibly going to have to back off there, but Also means the spear for Kasva didn't get the opportunity to actually really apply any pressure to the eco so far. It's going to take a little bit of damage, but these villagers have to evacuate to get back to food gathering, because Ubetnir's going to need all the food he can get here in order to keep producing spear and scout. Kasva in the same position, but again, you know, starts with a lot of extra food, and the fact that he hasn't had to garrison anything so far, you know, he's already cost his opponent that little bit of gather time. Been able to fit in a couple of extra spears as well, so this makes it really difficult for Ubetnir to try and get the engage that he wants, because yeah, even though he even though he lost one of the spears, and that didn't even happen. Even though he took a bit of damage on one of the spears, he pretty much deletes two of the scouts just like that. So Ubetnir already having a couple of spears produced as well, and bearing in mind, as a defender, it's a little bit easier for his additional units to back up a fight, but he's ultimately going to have to try and pull some villagers, which again, going to cost him a little bit of gather time. Because ultimately, if you can't get villager kills, the next best thing is interrupting your opponent's gathering while being roughly even in terms of the kill value. And right now, Kasva's actually slightly up in terms of the kill value. He's forced his opponent to have to commit to early game units as well, so right now, Ubetnir's trying to double down on feudal age composition, going to add a range in the mix now. And neither of these civs is particularly good with archers. So as you can see, all the Teuton's bonuses there for Ubetnir are related to either his barracks units or his stables units, as well as his economy and his ability to, you know, tower and take advantage of garrisons. Kasva, his base is an impenetrable fortress at the moment. You're not going to have a huge amount of wood to sit back here forever though, so eventually you're going to have to expand out of there, but by then he should be able to get Castle Age and come up with something to counter a feudal unit mass here, but Ubetnir come off that range, not actually producing anything out of it at the moment. Might be just a way to make sure he's able to take up the castle, but he is going to go for a blacksmith anyway, so both the stables, the range, and the blacksmith all count towards the prerequisite for having two feudal age buildings to get to castle. Whereas Kasva only has the two. So if this does end up being a transition to castle from here, with minimal units produced on both sides, then yeah, Kasva definitely going to be able to squeeze out the earlier castle age timing. Is especially good considering, well, he's even going double stables now. I was going to say it's especially good considering he's the one that's going to benefit more from relics, but at the same time Ubetnir is going to want to minimize the amount of relics his opponent can get on. So he's gone range, isn't really producing any more military of any sort at the moment, but just leaving his options open with being able to produce archers, I guess. This isn't a fight he wants to take, especially considering the spears. Even though they're not getting any bonus combat stats from Kasva's Civ, he does have that bonus movement speed, so it's a lot easier for him to just chase. Look at how quickly those little feet are going. Those horses are going to be puffed out with all this running away. A little bit of idle time there with these villagers. He's going to want to get them back to work here, so he's going to start bumping up that farm eco. Trying to get on top of his wood gathering here. Finishing fletching as well, so he's going to actually go for archers. Castle Age is going to kick in soon, so he'll be getting both cavalry and archers here, considering he's getting barding armor. So he's likely to go for knights, but then also have the option of fighting the map with crossbows as well. So monastery here, Kasva, and he's gone for that early knight. So this really should give him an advantage. Anything in the fight here, although he's going to have to be careful because those spearmen will still take him down pretty quickly, even though they haven't got their pikeman upgrade. So you better even adding bloodlines for his cavalry here. Getting another 20 health on those. Does Kasva actually have access to bloodlines? Yeah, he does, so he's already got that as well. And the knights actually aren't going to fare too poorly against the spears, considering they really need the pikeman upgrade to be on even footing with them. No players in possession of any relics just yet. Right now, Ubetnir's going to be careful to not throw away his knight mass, but at the same time he's got a lot of the knights for Kasva really low now, even though Kasva's going to be pulling ahead in terms of the actual kill value right now in the overall kill number. They can change very quick considering the health on the knights here for Ubetnir is a lot higher on average. He still has some, well, Kasva's still got some more spears out. She hasn't upgraded to pikeman at all. Ubetnir adding a relic. He's going to add forging here. Kasva hasn't fit in forging either. Our players even footing for upgrades. It's just that our Teutons player does have that extra armor without having to actually get any technology as such. But it won't be long. The damage is going to start climbing. Kasva, who's already got +1 from dropping off a single relic. It looks as though he's within spitting distance of another couple more. So he'll be able to have a really hefty 13 damage on his knights when 10 is the norm before upgrades. That's going to be really scary, even with the extra armor that Ubetnir has. He really needs to be able to restrict his opponent to minimal relics. In fact, ideally, no more than 1 in Castle and no more than 2 in Imperial, but I mean, that's not a given. Kasva hasn't bothered to go for a forging upgrade just yet, I don't believe. Even though he's got possession of the relics. So if he did get forging behind this, I think it'd be really, really effective because he'd go from 12 to 13 damage. But again, you know, if he invests in that, it means he can make less overall units, so he might be looking to get some more in the way of army first. The monks not able to get a conversion off there. This one probably going to get picked off. Yeah, he's not able to get a conversion off. A lot of these really scary knights here for Kasva now. I believe he's got forging, or has he just got 3 relics? No, he's just got up to 3 relics. So he can still, yeah, he's adding forging now. So gonna grab a 4th relic, and any more beyond that's not going to give him additional damage. But that's plenty for Lithuanians. If that was an uncapped value or maximum of 6, like knights would just be disgusting on a map like this. Surprised that you mustn't be able to pick mirror civs in this tournament, because honestly every time you see this map you would expect to just see Lithuanians versus Lithuanians. It'd be like a no-brainer, man. 4 extra damage on your knights is just unreal. Like, they're already up to 15 damage compared to the 11 of Ubetnir. Kasva and Ubetnir can both still add 1 more upgrade. Kasva deciding, I'm not going to get out of there, so I'll just delete the knights. Not taking any chances to just give you free units. Because the only thing worse than having units killed is having them converted. Because realistically, when you kill a unit, you know, it's dead. But when you convert a unit, it not only is killed effectively, you're now a unit up. So Kasva taking a not so economical decision early, you know, in the short term, but in the long term, it could really be the difference here. Although it does mean that his knight count is still down by a little bit. Even adding some scout cav here at the moment. I don't quite know why, other than to maybe scout with, but realistically, yeah, he's probably just using them to scout around the map, I guess. Realistically, he doesn't want them fighting in this knight versus knight comp. Although he might even be able to just pick off the monks with these guys, while Ubetnir's eager to try and focus on a knight versus knight trade, considering Kasva +6 damage now, so he has fit in the second tier of his damage upgrades with iron casting. So it's a very scary spot for Ubetnir to be in. Even though he's had a really nice knight mass going into this, he's going to lose pretty much all of it. There's almost no way around knights with an extra 40% increase to their base damage, basically, just purely through the relic control, which Ubetnir really couldn't do a lot about. It'd be very hard to restrict your opponent to, you know, only 1 or 2 relics on this map, but Kasva, he's already up to 8, so it's a massive gold trickle as well. He's getting about 4 gold every tick there. It's really going to help supplement his knight production here, because ultimately, players are going to start running out of safe gold. Maybe not in the short term here, but eventually they will. So, both that and the fact that Kasva is not having to invest in villages to get that uptick of gold basically means that all the monks he went for early on are going to pay for themselves, whereas Ubetnir, it's going to take, well, 4 times as long for them to pay for themselves. And there is still the potential for Kasva to actually go up to 9 relics here, so he is going to attempt to do so. Bearing in mind, so Ubetnir's going to come and try and deny this relic. Scout going to be able to clean up a villager. So it's a bit rough for Ubetnir. He's probably looking to actually try and just wall in the relic, I think. Or just build an outpost over in this corner so Kasva, even if he did go for the relic, Ubetnir would know all about it, but so Ubetnir's going to be very crafty, picking off this monk and this scout, so he might even be able to get both here. Clean up the scout. So first sign of good luck here for him. In fact, he's going to clean up another villager, though he is going to miss the monk going for this. That's for trying to do a little bit of raiding, but he's just throwing away those scout cav. But right now, he's in a really nice spot. Both players getting a shitload of outposts around the map here. In fact, Kasva going outpost and house right next to one another. So building health to get through to completely deny vision in that area. With a single knight just up here chilling, and there should be no way for him to win this fight. Even though there is extra armor here for Ubetnir, so having extra armor, it still isn't enough for him to win fights against these knights. And an attempted castle dropping here by Ubetnir is going to be denied by Kasva. He's got the stone to actually go for a quick defensive castle in the same spot. Somehow Ubetnir is making this knight mass work. There is some Latis in the mix, Latis as well. I'm not so sure how they actually fare against knights, though they do look to have a lot of damage there at the moment. So GG, Ubetnir tapping out. Go to these Latis, guys. Where are they? They'll be his unique unit, won't they? Strong versus armored units, so they'll be extra strong against the bonus armor for the Teutons then, I guess. Yeah, they ignore armor completely, so I guess that sort of just helps counteract the additional armor that he's got from taking these upgrades and being on a civ that gets a little bit of bonus armor. Ultimately, Kasva pulling well ahead in that one.